Welcome to this special little playthrough, the Dwibs Kicks Jova's Arse LP of WWE 2K18.
Actually, I beat you a few times, but Dwibs, congratulations, you beat someone like me who has absolutely no experience playing this game before.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Maybe you can brag if you can beat me at something like Smash.
Unfortunately, I don't have Smash right now, so... Anyway, the basic gist of these two parts is me and Jova played the PS4 version of this game via share play, and we fought each other. Although, to be honest, I've forgotten who we were playing.
Guys, we have two of WWE's most exciting superstars ready to square off here. And there's nothing quite like seeing two superstars settling it in the ring in one-on-one action, Michael.
Well, what about three people? Or four people? And yeah, I don't think we ever did run-ins. As far as I recall. You see, Jova's all about fair play. I'm not, but yeah, I'm more of a pragmatic person.
I thought you were the heel who plays dirty.
Exactly. That's what I meant, pragmatic. If he's there, I'll just attack him.
Pragmatic, he calls it.
Well, I get...
to call it.
I don't think you know what that word means, Chris.
Yes, it means taking the most simple option rather than, you know, being... it's not really a fair fight, so why play fair?
Okay, might as well just quote Princess Bride. Just say that word. I do not think it means what you think it means.
Remember, Shiroi, you know that that verse of if someone slaps you on one cheek, offer also the other? In the Dwibs Bible, instead it says, if someone slaps you on one cheek, punch the fuck out of them.
No. Mark, in Dwibs' case, it's punch everyone before they can punch you, essentially.
They're the bad guys.
What about you, Byron? He obviously looks good physically, but do you think he's...
Yeah, I completely forget who we're playing respectively in this match.
I do think I labelled them eventually, I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've edited this all together.
You're in big trouble. It's that simple.
Yeah, basically, yeah, it's a battle of David versus Goliath. Goliath, in this case, being the Big Show, and David being AJ Styles. So, take your picks, guys. Who are we playing as?
I guess.
Oh, no, I got it. Because the random flailing around and just walking around everywhere, Jova's playing the Big Show and I'm playing AJ Styles.
And understandably so. Oh, man. Tell us about AJ Styles. So what can these WWE
Yes, tell us about AJ Styles for those who don't know him.
Well, since they're not going to, I am. AJ Styles is a wrestler mostly known for his time in WWE's then slightly more minor rival at the time, Total Non-Stop Action Wrestling, or later on Impact Wrestling, where he was one of their top guys for many years, up until around the mid-2010s, where he went to Japan and did this stuff there, and came to WWE in early 2016, and he's been there ever since.
Lovely.
There. I did it in 30 seconds what this game didn't do at all.
The Big Show is more than
the Big Show has been wrestling since around the mid-90s and is known, obviously, for his giant frame. He's one of the, he started his career, I believe, in WCW, WWE's, WWF's biggest rival ever at the time. And he did quite well. He even won a world title, but he grew dissatisfied with how the company was being run and how he was being portrayed in it. So he left and went to the WWE or WWF in 1999, and has been there ever since, barring a couple of years break.
Are there hairline fractures, breaks, sprains? This is real damage.
Speaking
here.
of breaks,
You spoke about Big Show's dominance, so allow me to expand on that.
Damn, maybe the ref should practice getting out of the way.
Championship. If you're a WWE superstar and you cross with the Big Show, it could very well mean the end of your career.
How is he supposed to lift it? How is he lifted up like that?
Can AJ Styles capitalize?
If you tried this in SmackDown vs. Raw 2008, you won't be able to lift him up at all. And that's his finisher.
I can't believe it, Michael. That is exactly
Actually, I think Jova's the one, AJ Styles, since he's not going for the pinch straight away.
I guess so.
See? Why is he just standing there?
He's just fucking with him, I think.
How the heck was I winning that one, even if I didn't know much about this game?
Oh, count. 1, 2. Nope.
Yes, Major?
Could it be possibly that this is actually all computer controlled? Nah, I couldn't possibly.
No. I can attest that we were there playing this the whole thing.
Knockout punch from Big Show. Whoops, that missed. That's putting it mildly, Cole.
Yeah. I'm out of here. I'm leaving and not coming back.
Also, Jova, it's easy
Hey,
to
don't
get
touch
through
the
this.
rat.
It's easy to get through this if you don't know how to play the game. You just mash buttons. That's what everybody who's new to a game does.
Well executed.
Ow.
Press anything.
Yeah,
Is that what you did the first time you played
Bastion.
Splatoon?
Kinda.
Oh boy. As someone who's played Splatoon, I can imagine how that would have turned out. Especially if you were trying to use the charger.
I don't use the charger.
Oh, why is that?
Yeah.
I can't aim.
Huh. So let me guess, you're more a roller type of person.
Actually, no. Buckets.
Huh. So you like to dump on them.
And blasters, which require some aim, but not that much.
Yeah, they're kind of point blankers. Ooh, that's gonna be a mark.
1, 2. Oh, he just. Oh.
Doesn't show any signs of getting up here, guys. No, he's taking.
The only time I use a charger is in Salmon Run, where weapons are predetermined.
All this talk about salmon is making me hungry, and I just had a giant pizza.
That can't be enough, can it?
1. Yeah, it's not enough.
I guess Dwibs is very good at pressing the escape button prompt.
Now I'm gonna save it until I really need it.
If you have time to worry, then run, or something like that.
Looks like this show's over, guys. This could do it.
1, 2.
Mr.
Oh, so
Mr.
I won the first round.
By the way, Mr. Announcer, could you, try to, act like you... I know that you're not actually commenting on a real match, you're just recording on the mic, but you could pretend to give a shit. Just saying.
Maybe didn't pay him enough.
It's kind of ironic, Dwibs, that you talked about this being you kicking my butt when the first match we open up with is me winning. Somehow.
Anyway, next match is a triple threat. Undertaker versus the now no longer in WWE Neville and Mr. McMahon.
Wow.
Start placing your bets. Will the announcer actually act like he gives a shit this time? Oh, yeah, and who will win the match? That too.
Is it said that this announcer may be better than the announcer in the current WWE game as of now?
Dwibs?
I thought they were they're the same announcers.
What I mean, I'm talking about his performance.
Oh, no, wait, no, sorry, I got mixed up. It's not Neville, it's someone from the Ascension, but I don't know who.
So, Dwibs, can we expect a playthrough of WWE 2K18?
Only if you pay me for it.
Basically, folks, for those who don't know, the current WWE game that's out right now is an abomination, to be polite.
I haven't heard about any of that. Could you talk about it?
Okay, basically, let's talk about this. Glitches up the wazoo. Check. A terrible story mode and campaign that's incredibly lacking. Check. Gameplay modes that don't even properly work. Check. Feeling like it's a complete ripoff. Check. Dwibs, how about you carry out the other problems?
Well, there's a lot of missing modes.
Considering most of these games are, well, most not all of them, considering these games are the EA Sports type of module in the sense that very little changes from year to year, meaning there's little to screw up in development. Most of it is copy paste.
I got the answer for that.
Go ahead.
Ukes, who have been developing the WWE games for many years, stopped developing them.
So they gave us
a new developer for this one.
And you know
that's the thing. During the 2K era, Ukes have been working with one of 2K's usual sports games developers, but this time it's just the sports game developer from 2K on their own.
And apparently they really suck considering how neutered that game came out. Like, it missed freaking game modes. Like, again, when you're a sports game and you take out game modes here, you've got a problem. Like, I mean, look, for as good as sports games can come, let's not forget that they're kind of bare bones when they start off with them. Like, you need all the extra content you can get.
If you want an example as to how bad that was, EA, they got rid of the journey, but they didn't just remove it and leave a huge gap. They replaced it with something.
Yeah, like, oh, and that's not even getting into the microtransaction dealios. Pedro, if there was a certain famous wrestler you wanted to play as, more often than not, you would have to pay microtransactions or gamble with the loot boxes in the hopes of getting them.
So, is it as bad as Gears 5?
Oh, arguably worse.
From what I understand, Gears 5 is at least functional.
No, it's not, I'm talking about
he's asking about the loot boxes and microtransactions.
Well, to be fair, Gears 5 does not have loot boxes, but it does have microtransactions.
Oh, well, then I dare say that automatically makes this worse because loot boxes are essentially gambling. But yeah, okay, when it comes to the microtransactions, those factor more into said loot boxes. But yes, there are also there for sure microtransactions for customizations. I don't recall the rate since I didn't really play the game. Dwibs would probably be the better person to ask about that. Dwibs?
Well, I wouldn't really know. But anyway, this match is for the iconic and most prestigious European Championship.
I have no idea who's playing as whom in this one and who's the computer. I guess we'll figure out by watching.
Monterrey, heck, all of Mexico we'll be talking about for a long time to come.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. So there'd be a weird wrestling match in real life if all they did was just pace around doing nothing.
Especially considering the hype that Vince McMahon would probably bring, stepping back into the ring, all things considered.
As the action continues,
yeah. he's pretty well built for a guy his age, I must say.
Yeah.
How old is he by this point, Dwibs?
Let me check real quick. I'll just type in Mr. McMahon for quickness.
He definitely looks the part, and sometimes that helps, believe it or not.
Okay, he is 74.
Wow.
Although some would argue his age is starting to hinder his creativeness.
Oh boy.
I mean, there are some really good things going on in WWE, but there's also some rather iffy stuff.
One of the big issues sometimes with WWE is that the problem is that they're the most popular one. So a lot of times their competitors either go out of business or just give up in general. And because since WWE for a long time goes on without competition, they start getting complacent.
Well, that's the thing though, Pedro. Recently they have been getting competition in the form of a new company called All Elite Wrestling, or AEW for short. And generally they're doing a pretty good job, although even they have their own issues.
I mean, remember, let's not forget how back in the early 2000s there was this thing where, because of the lack of competition, they had to create inner competition within themselves.
Seriously?
That's where Raw and SmackDown came from.
Oh, wow! So
well, to be fair, what happened was Raw started in 1993, SmackDown started in 1999, and for a few years they were all pretty much the same show. You know, they were all within it. Raw and SmackDown had the same continuity going on, but in 2002, that's when they split Raw and SmackDown into their own shows.
Huh. And all for the sake of trying to generate competition so that, they would have to improve on things.
Although, mind you, AEW, like I said, AEW, generally they're doing an alright job, but they've got their own issues, namely, namely their I think it's their tag division needs a lot of work, and also they have a big. You know how WWE sometimes treats his fans like idiots.
Yes.
AEW can have the exact opposite problem.
Eh?
Like they when someone debuts, they assume that everyone, even the average Joe who doesn't really follow wrestling online stuff all that much, will know who people are.
Ooh, that sounds like a recipe for disaster in wrestling.
Like recently, there was this whole thing where these two guys debuted in AEW called The Butcher and the Blade, but there was no effort to even explain to the people watching whether they were whether they were at home or in the arena who the hell they were. One of the commentators said, "Who are they?" The other one said, "It's the Butcher and the Blade." Yeah, but who are they? It's the Butcher and the Blade.
Oh my
And that was
god.
it.
This sounds like something out of a comedy that's just...
Apparently
That's
it's
it.
real life.
Yeah, that's it.
Is the real life?
So there you are.
It's just fantasy.
There you go. So yeah, AEW has managed to prove that you can that there is such a thing as as treating your fans a bit too highly.
Well, it's
Also,
not
she
so much
right.
treating their fans too highly, it's not informing them of stuff that they should know. And even if they are familiar with it, shouldn't you always assume that someone's going to be a newcomer to one of these shows anyway?
Jova, I was a bit mistaken. They do sometimes inform. They do sometimes say who people are and what this thing is going on is at the moment. But do you know what the bad news is?
What?
It's for external YouTube shows.
Why even? I mean, wouldn't people on those external shows probably be the more dedicated fans who already know this stuff?
More than likely, yeah. And from what I hear, they don't even really promote the shows on the actual TV show all that much.
Sounds like a cockamania scheme just to get people to watch the regular WWE if they want to know who these people
Oh,
are.
Jova, you just brought me on another subject. When AEW was first made, one of their big guys, one of the runners, went out of his way to say that we're not going to war with them or anything. We're just an alternative. And yet they're mostly known for taking jabs at WWE every single chance they get.
Huh, saying something and doing another different thing.
I mean, why would you do that? To the general public, you're basically minnows. And you're just basically telling them to go view your opponents. Especially considering when you're airing the same night as NXT, what is regarded as WWE's best product going at the minute.
Who knew that wrestling could get this cockamania with this?
If you want to be like that, at least be honest about it.
Anyway, you were going to ask me something, Peter?
Shiroi, most of wrestling is guys arguing about betrayals and people sleeping with their wives. This is a comedy.
Handicap 1-on-2 tornado tag.
Remember that? Remember the WWE parody that South Park did? You took my job. Like it's just that's basically the best way to look at wrestling storylines, Shiroi, is to just as comedies. This is a comedy basically. Just look at it like way.
The thing is, like, I get what Dwibs is saying because I used to watch wrestling many years ago. And the thing is, while it does have a considerable fan base, it's a very specific interest. And unlike, say, football, where, the general public would at least have some general knowledge of the subject, a lot of people aren't going to be the same towards wrestling. So you really do need to explain, the backstories for each person at these sorts of things. You really do.
Well, to be fair, usually WWE always has these little recap videos before a big match to get people up to speed. So.
Well, it's more so what Dwibs is referring to, where they had newcomers and people had no fucking.
Oh, that. Well, yeah. In that case, well.
Ladies and gentlemen, our 2-on-1 handicap.
Oh no, I know they did the recap.
So if I recall correctly, in this match it was me and Dwibs versus the computer.
Yes, this time me and Jova have decided to put aside our differences and work together.
Yeah.
Aww.
Corey, what should we expect?
We have a common enemy.
Yes. Yeah, Randy Orton. God sake, Randy Orton has had quite a lengthy WWE career. He's been in WWE since 2002.
As a reminder, guys, this one will be a handicap match featuring 2 superstars against 1.
Oh, we don't need a reminder, Cole. Though I'm willing to bet that after this one, somebody's going to need to remind her.
Hey, Dwibs, I guess you can say he's the Jun Sonoe at WWE in a way. You know, whereas so many Sega Sound Team composers left over the years, Jun remained there.
Yeah.
All right, we're ready to kick this one off.
And off we go.
Right.
Let's see how well me and Jova work together.
I get the feeling Dwibs is the one playing Morton.
Yes, I like playing the slithering snakes.
That's right, you'd be Slytherin in Hogwarts, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you'd be Hufflepuff.
No. My test said I'd be Gryffindor. It's Shiroi who got Hufflepuff. Congratulations.
Well, Pedro, who did you get?
What's the other one that you guys didn't mention?
Ravenclaw.
I guess I can be that.
Ah, yes, they do tend to be the puzzle solvers.
There you go. See, perfect.
To the point where, with their portrait, you have to solve a riddle in addition to knowing the password to get in.
That he's here.
I forget, of all the 4 factions in Hogwarts, which is the one that's least involved with the plot the most?
Ravenclaw.
Ravenclaw.
Yeah.
Ironic, isn't it?
That's the problem one for me. Whereas all of you guys are busy dealing with Voldemort, I'm just sitting here chilling and solving puzzles.
It's ironic because Hufflepuff is the only house without really a gimmick, really, to it. Like, Gryffindor is about being brave and heroic. Slytherin is about being cunning and clever. And Ravenclaw is all about being brainy and smart. Whereas Hufflepuff, Shiroi, what was Hufflepuff's specialty?
Basically, Team Instinct.
And it seems to be the team that loses quite a few of its members to death.
And then Gryffindor is the protagonist.
Really taking it to him.
much.
Man, this is not good at all.
Yeah, basically we're showing Kurt Angle up for the fraud he is.
Yeah.
An Olympic gold medalist. I'm surprised he even made the Olympics.
Did he legit win that, or is that just part of his character?
No, he actually legitimately won an Olympic wrestling medal in 1996.
And he wears it to all his matches, I see.
Before he became a professional wrestler, he was actually an Olympian wrestler.
Huh.
So he actually won a gold medal for the U.S. In the Olympics.
Nice.
And so much so that that WWE made it part of his character, where he's always bragging about his medal. See, unlike you guys, I actually won a competition that's not scripted. See?
And there we are. Me and Jova are unsurprisingly the victors. Well done, Jova. You did stuff.
I definitely helped out, yeah.
And he won, and I helped.
Than that feeling of keeping your opponent's shoulders down for the 3 count. And as we expected, WWE Extreme Rules has been a brutal evening.
This is kind of interesting considering how Triple H and Randy Orton hate each other. But
Wait,
then
really?
again, I don't know. I'm not familiar with the current storyline. Have they patched things up at all, or have they had their characters even interact at all in years?
They have interacted quite a bit since then.
So
But
this is
do they even reference the Evolution days or anything, or is it just,
Recently as last year, there was an Off Evolution reunion.
Ah, okay. So basically, they're acting as if the whole betrayal thing never even happened.
It was years ago, even.
I guess, sure. I just wish they would, at the very least, you know, have a scene where they patch things up, you know, for the sake of at least acknowledging it. You know, for the sake
Oh, they
of
do
the
it.
veterans.
They do acknowledge it. It's one of their most well-known groups.
Well, I get that, but I'm just saying, for the sake of keeping the immersion with the storyline, have a scene where they reconcile within the story, you know, just for the sake of...
And I'm pretty sure they had that. And besides, out of the two, Randy Orton's the only guy who wrestles on a regular basis now.
I guess, sure.
Triple H is now running NXT and 205 Live. So we got Shane McMahon, along with Rhino.
Shane McMahon, what is he supposed to be? Vince's son or something?
Yes.
Huh.
IRL.
So he has a son and a daughter.
Yeah.
Here comes the money.
And now we got Mark Henry.
Oh yeah, Mark Henry.
I've never gotten used to Mark Henry without hair.
Wait, do you shave his beard?
No. His hair.
Beard. He used to have both beard and hair, but in recent years he shaved.
No offense to you, Cole.
Honestly, I think he looks better without it, to be honest.
Well, was he balding at some point?
I don't know. Maybe it was just a decision. Maybe it was just a WWE who figured, yeah, you know what?
And now, introducing a guy who is still in WWE, albeit on a part-time basis, and can still go when he gives a shit, Brock Lesnar.
Heel or face?
The World Heavyweight Champion.
Also known as the Beast.
Beast incarnate. Hey, let's see.
Come on, guys. We all know that Brock is that Brock is a fraud. The guy from YouTube, he's the real Beast.
Of course. Yeah. Alright, just gotta tweak some things. There we go.
And guys, we're ready to get this match started.
Did that so Jova could have some help.
In Dallas, fans turn out in record numbers, and tonight is no different.
Alright, it's a battle royal. Basically, the aim of this is to, it just said battle royal, so I'm guessing the aim of this one, whoever gets pinned or made to submit is eliminated from the match, and it keeps going until there's one person left. That one person will become the champion.
Nice.
Oh, actually, no, it is over the top rope, sorry. Sorry, I got mixed up. Because, well, Shane McMahon did not last long at all.
Yep.
What a clothesline.
How do you know they still got it? They've only just started wrestling.
They foresaw.
Unleashing it for the...
Oh yeah, that's another thing about not about wrestling in general. Fans can either be really, really nice and informative, or pricks.
Like almost any other fan base, or is there something unique about them?
There have been times where where a minority, I will say, have gotten so extreme to the point where wrestlers, you know, if it were aimed at them specifically, they didn't take it very kindly.
Huh.
He's not going to like this.
Honestly, Dwibs, to be fair, those kinds of bad traits apply to all fandoms in general.
There's always someone in a family or fandom.
It's probably because I've been hanging around wrestling fans on the internet a lot more.
Trust me, that's
so the dead zone.
I have yet to. Well, I guess, Jova. I never really hear anything from the Mario fandom in general. Like,
the Mario fandom for the most part seems to be pretty chillax.
Well, that's the thing. They have little to no reason to be mad.
Well, okay. I'd say the only extreme part of the Geno fan base.
I guess.
Only because, you know, the Papa Boy seems to be locked up in the Square Enix dungeon.
Well, actually, no. I think there is the Paper Mario fan base who's incredibly unhappy because of the game's post 1,000-year door.
I mean, from what I hear,
It's the same with the Mario and Luigi series, although I think the Paper Mario series fans are a bit louder.
yeah, when it comes to Mario and Luigi, it's not so much that the fans are all too disappointed with games. It's just that Dream Team wasn't quite as great as Bowser's Inside Story. And the crossover with Paper Mario, while good, unfortunately took out a lot of things that people liked about Dream Team. Overall,
Anyway.
they're still in good standing. Oh, wait, that's right. The company that made them is dying.
Well, crap.
Anyway, join us for the second and final part of this little live stream session. So see you then.
See you then.
See ya.
See ya.